Yo, and how's it going, Apple Army? Welcome back to the Game in Apple. So, for you guys on PC, the Blackwood patch just dropped today, the 1st of June. I don't get it for another week on console, so it doesn't get to me for literally another week until the 8th of June. But you guys got it, and you're probably thinking, I want to update my builds. What should I be running for STAM DK this patch? Obviously STAM DK, because you're watching a STAM DK video. So you're probably STAM DK mains, or you want to be playing STAM DK more this patch, and you're thinking, there's no build videos out. How the hell do I change my STAM DK to get it right for this patch? And this is the difficult question, right? Because there's no builds, nobody's tested, right? But what I'm going to try to do is give you a bridge, right? A bridge from last patch's build to the fully finished build that will be out in like a week or two from people like me and other YouTubers, right? But for the meantime, I'm hoping this can help you, right? And what I quickly want to show you guys is basically, do you see this video here? This talks about how to create a build, right? How STAM DK needs to be built in any way of playing, how you can build a STAM DK on your own. And then what we're doing today is for the Blackwood patch, I'm talking very specifically how you can build your STAM DK for 1vxing in the Blackwood patch, and how I'm going to go about creating a build for you guys. And you'll see my build come out in a week or so, for about 10 days after I've had a chance to go on the patch. Right? The first thing you want to do though is you want to look at your old build, right? So you want to look at your old build and what got you through last patch, okay? And you got to think, what's changed, right? I had these skills, I had those sets. What's changed this patch? Well, I'll tell you what's changed. Procs have come back. Procs have come back, and there have been massive changes to proc sets as a whole in the patch notes, right? This build worked really well in a stat-based meta where procs weren't allowed, but it's gone. Everything here that I'm thinking of, right, has got to go. Okay, all of this. It's not going to work, right? All gone. Uh, and what I want to talk to you about now is how I'm going to change that into next patch, okay? And this is the first thing that I'm going to be testing, and, well, it's an option for you guys to try, right? The first thing that I'm going to be testing, it is going to be backbar dual wield. I'm not going to be running the axes, it will be the swords. So in the week's time, when it drops for me on the 8th, I will be running swords backbar, okay? Swords backbar. I haven't got a set determined for the front bar yet. It's going to be Engine Guardian here. Where are you? Do I have more Engine Guardian? Okay, well, you won the heavy Engine Guardian. That's fine. Right, Engine Guardian there. Critical. Like, literally, I just crafted this now. Let's put that on. Because I don't want to... I'm not going to be running a full 5-piece defensive set. And we'll take off these shoes. I'm going to take them off. We're going to take that off. We're going to take that off. And we're going to switch that to Malakath. Okay, so that's my base. This is what I'm going to run, right? I'm going to be running Malakath. Malakath with 4 pieces of critical riposte, okay? 2 pieces of heavy, chest and legs, reinforced. And then either the boots, the shoulders, or the helmet will be in heavy. So in this case, I got the shoulders in heavy. But either the boots, helmet, or shoulder, because they all come out at the same armor value, but lower than the chest and the legs, right? So one of them heavy, so we'll be running 3 heavy and 4 medium. It could be 4 medium, 3 heavy, but I think, I've got this feeling, I think it's going to be a 4 medium, 3 heavy patch. I think. Could go either way, but this is the side that I more think is going to happen. For me personally, especially in the Malakath build, we lean more towards heavy armor with Malakath. That's what you got to remember. Malakath, we kind of do lean a bit more towards heavy. But because of the penalties now in heavy armor, I don't want to go too far into heavy. That's why I'm kind of drawing the line about 3. And this is going to be our defensive. This is all defense, right? Look at this. Defense. Engine Guardian. Okay, so Engine Guardian is going to be here because I would usually run Troll King here, right? But because of the massive nerf to health recovery, I don't want to run Troll King. I don't want to be running health recovery. I don't even like that first line of health recovery, right? That first line is basically useless as patch because of the nerf to health recovery. But, right, what you got to remember, what I'll do is I'll do my skills out now, right? I'll show you my skills. So we are taking off. We're taking off Cauterize, right? for this next patch, for this setup that I want to be doing. We're taking off Cauterize, we are taking off Shuffle for Race Against Time. So all of a sudden, we've just lost Major Evasion and we have just lost Cauterize. But we will have, we are bringing in more tankiness through Critical Riposte and 3 pieces heavy. So we'll be upping our max health, our resistances, going into this next patch, right? But we've lost a heal, and we've lost Major Evasion, and gained a lot more movement, which is nice, right? But what this will do is I like to run a defensive monster set when I use this kind of setup. Balrogs here would be too offensive, I think. I think it'd be too offensive. And I would usually go Troll King. And in this setup, well, we can't use Troll King anymore. It's not something I'll be using. And then I think, what about Malabeth? Well, we're going to be using Fragmented for this setup. So I don't want to be using Malabeth, right? So, because we're using Fragmented, which gives us that healing received already. So what I'll be doing then is Engine Guardian. And now Engine Guardian is a phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal monster set, right? Because it'll give us health at times, not all the time, it'll give us health, magic, and stamina. So our sustain will shoot up. We will see a massive surge in stamina, okay? And stats, right? Which is awesome. But we can also use this as, when I'm getting X, right? And all the procs that are going to come this patch, right? All the procs, all those different things are going to be hitting you. They can hit the Engine Guardian. Because remember, when I'm kiting, they're behind me, right? This thing usually trails behind you. So you can kite around corners, and you can use Engine Guardian as a defensive measure to mitigate damage. And that's how I'm going to be seeing Engine Guardian next patch. And literally, it procs so easy. It procs so easy. It'll allow us to keep our Fragmented up a lot more when we've got this up. Look at that. Fragmented is such a heavy skill, but we can just hit that quite a few times, right? And then if you get the healing one that comes up, I don't know if it'll want to give me the healing one. Let's see if it does. It doesn't. No, it gives me the stamina one. But even if it gives me the stamina one, right? Okay, it didn't give me health. What it does give me is a shit ton of roll dodges. Obviously, you want to split them up a bit, or you could just block through it. So there are many ways you can use Engine Guardian if it doesn't give you what you want. Okay, if it gives me magic, I will batter the shit out of this skill to give me my mending, right? If it gives me stamina, I'll hold block and roll dodge more. If it gives healing, I'll tank more. You get the idea. That's enough for Engine Guardian, right? I've never used it on STAM DK, but I have used it, and I think this patch could be the patch for STAM DK Engine Guardian. I think for 1vxing. And then Malakath. Malakath is a must, right? Malakath is a must. The damage, it's going to give us 16%, it won't be 25%, we'll give us 16% extra damage done, and then you can do crit damage as well, but it's nerfed by like 50%, I think. But yeah, so Malakath is going to be really nice. Now, for the final set, guys, right? For the final set, you will have it in these 3 places, plus this front bar, right? And what I'm going to say is, no matter what you pick, it is going to be a two-handed maul. A two-handed maul and sharpened, okay? We're not going to be going for weapon damage, okay? Malakath stacks better with penetration, because you use Malakath usually on a STAM DK for dot pressure, right? You usually use it for dot pressure. I'll show you now. Obviously I don't have something back for that, but usually use it for dot pressure. And I haven't got a thing, so the animation cancels really bad with your fists. But you get it. We use for dot pressure, right? And it really does up your damage a lot more when you use penetration, because those dots can get through a lot nicer. Yeah, that's how I feel about Malakath. So I stack a lot more into pen. So yeah, we're gonna have low weapon damage. I won't be surprised if we're sat around 4.8k to 4.5k weapon damage next patch with a nice level of pen. Okay. Now I'm gonna switch over to my PC now, guys, and I'm gonna show you the sets I've got in mind. It's gonna be a full 5-piece set. So a 2-piece here, then 1, 3, then 4, 5. So we've got a full 5-piece set, only active on the front bar. Okay. So let's have a look now on the PC at the ideas that I've got. Right? Now, the first idea that I've got is Red Shadow Mountain. And, Shadow of the Red Mountain. I was looking at something else, right? Yeah, Shadow of the Red Mountain. Now, I like the weapon damage it gives. I like the stamina it gives. I'm not a fan of the critical chance it gives whilst using Malakath. Even though we can do critical damage now, I'm still not a fan of it. Definitely, I feel like we're losing a bit out there. But not completely, because it can still give us extra crit heals. But then when you deal damage with a weapon ability, so not even a weapon ability, that could be, I believe that's a light attack, heavy attack, that could be twin slashes or uppercut. Well, it would be on the front bar, so it wouldn't be twin slashes, but it would be uppercut, something like that. It would spawn a volcano that erupts after 1 second, launching a liquid or hot lava to the closest enemy. So if I do a combo, I could proc this very easily. Right? And then if I leap, after, say I proc it, and then I instantly hit a leap, a group of players, right? A group of players are now on their backs. This 1 second is going to hit them, right? I'm sure that I can guarantee this hit, okay? Maybe sometimes it doesn't when we're not leaping, but this is extra pressure. And I'm curious to see how hard this hits, so I want to test how hard I can make this hit with this build. If it doesn't hit hard enough, like if it isn't a good enough tooltip, if it doesn't push through hard enough, then I won't use it. But it's definitely on my to test list, okay? This set is definitely my to test list. Same goes for Deadly Strike, okay? So you've got 2 lines of weapon damage and a line of crit. Again, not the biggest fan of the crit line, but it's a very solid first 4 pieces. Then increase your physical, bleed, poison, and disease damage. So your twin slashes now will always do bleed damage. It doesn't do any direct physical damage. So it'll always be physical damage over time now. Then we've obviously some upfront damage. But it'll be bleed. Always bleed. Then it'll be Venomous Claw, so your poison, with Toxic Breath. Now it'll buff all of that, but it will not buff Leap, it will not buff Uppercut, and it will not buff your Execute. So for this, I am tempted to run the Cleave skill. Now I haven't seen the Cleave skill tooltips for this patch. It's not been out yet. Well, I haven't seen anything of it yet. I haven't been updated. I can actually check right now, because this is a skill that I've been keeping an eye on, right? Where are you? I haven't researched it on this, so Cleave ESO, right? Let's have a look. So this one is, it turns into Carve, my bad. It's Carve. So it's still saying on here that it's a physical damage, but that is all turning into bleed. Like, this will all be bleed. So I'm curious to how this skill looks in person, and if it's a strong enough bleed. Okay, if they've made this a strong enough bleed for this patch, I am tempted to switch it out for Uppercut and put it in with Deadly. I won't have a stun, but if it's that strong, I'll just use Leap as my stun. That is fine by me, okay? I don't think I'm going to be going down that route, but I need to test it, okay? Right, next one is Pestilence Host. Now, I really like this one, right? I really like this one for a few reasons. Basically, it gives you a line of physical penetration, or beautiful, right? You can't go wrong with penetration with a Malakath build, or any build. Penetration is brilliant. Max stamina, brilliant. Weapon damage, brilliant. And then your first bit here, don't look at the rest of it, but your first bit right here gives you penetration. Now, if you add up this penetration here and that penetration there, you're nearly at 3k pen. And 3k pen is how much you get from Spriggans. So think of it like this. Spriggan gives a line of stamina for your first line, then stamina again, and then weapon damage and 3k pen. What you'll be getting so far, just from this bit, you'll be getting 3k pen, 1 line of stamina, and 1 line of weapon damage, right? So you're missing out so far just 1 line of stamina. But then you get all of this extra. So to replace that 1 line of stamina difference that you would have from Spriggans, we get all of this, right? And whenever you kill an enemy afflicted with a poison status effect, so if they have nauseous breath, right? Not status effect, just a poison effect. So they have nauseous breath, venomous claw in them, right? Which is something we always have in them, because we need nauseous breath to do fracture, right? So when they die, it's very, very, very likely they're going to have nauseous breath on, unless they're a complete glass cannon and I didn't need to debuff them, or it just wasn't on them at the time. Very rare occasion that'll happen. So this will literally be up on every single enemy I kill. Okay? Their corpse releases Rifing mass of Fetcher Flies, which seek out the nearest enemy within 12 meters. Okay? That's pretty good. It seeks them out. That sounds like an undodgeable thing to me. It seeks them out. It's going to hone in on them, right? Obviously, it's testing, causing them to bleed for 31,200. Now, I am curious to how high I can get this to go with Malakath and my build in total. I am very curious to, obviously they've changed procs, right, and there's the scaling of them, so I can't tell, but I am curious. I know it's over 10 seconds, but over 10 seconds, that's 3,100, 3,120 per second, okay, per second, with a nice level of pen, weapon damage, and stamina. So when I kill somebody in a 1vx, I can then move on to the next person and have more pressure. I don't know how this will work, but I'm very intrigued to see how this set works next patch. Because it has a very good foundation to it with a nice proc. It's not just relying on the proc, it has a very good foundation as is. That's why I'm very interested in it. But for you guys, I suggest running this set. I suggest if you don't want to be testing, right? If you don't want to be testing and you want to wait for builds to come out, I recommend running this set. Stunn's Favor. It gives you weapon damage, physical penetration, weapon damage, and then 5.3k physical penetration. That is literally nearly 7k physical penetration. We're looking at, what, 6.8k? Sorry, pardon me. Yeah, about 6.8k penetration there. With 2 lines of weapon and spell damage. I mean, it's amazing. Obviously, with this setup, we'll be using Uppercut, without a doubt. We'll be using Uppercut. You have to, for the off balance, right? But all you do is put Toxic Breath on them, and Uppercut, and this is really easy to proc. Yeah, it's a solid set, guys. It'll do a lot of damage, and it will work. Hands down, it'll work. Not sure it'll be the best next patch, but it will definitely do the job. So that's enough about sets. I didn't want to just tell you a set. I've given you an option here, guys, right? I've given you options. I want you guys to be able to build for yourself. There's no builds going to be out. There's no way you're going to have a solid build out the first day of the PTS, and even if maybe for a week, right, guys? And then I'll be a few days after that, like literally about 10 days from now, because I've got a test as well when it drops on PlayStation in a week's time. So for the meantime, I want you guys to have something that you can use and play with and enjoy, because I know for a fact that my ideas for building STAM DK always come out strong, because it's my main. I put a lot of thought into STAM DK. Obviously, one of these will turn out stronger than my other builds that I'm thinking, but they will all work. They will all work. I'm not going to be showing you anything here, guys, that's not going to work. Right. So that's enough about that. And what I was saying then was that was for the front set. Okay, untimid, 2-handed maul sharpened, right? And then what I wanted to say was, if you did go for deadly or something, you would switch this skill out here. You'd switch out uppercut for, I need to get it. It would be carve, so it would be the other morph of cleave. That would be the morph of cleave, which is called carve. And it'd be full bleed damage, and I'm very interested about that skill next patch. To be honest, I think uppercut's gonna stay in. Because uppercut's amazing. But I'm curious nonetheless, right? I'm curious. Okay, so that's enough about dual wield, and that's enough about dual wield 2-hand. I'm gonna give you guys whatever you got. No. Right. I'm gonna go over now the sword and board setups I'd like to try. Okay, the sword. So if you don't want to be using this sword and board, right? Now I'm just doing random sword and board, right? Random sword and board. Okay. And the first thing with sword and board would be to run. Where are you? Where are my axes? So it'd be sword and board, dual wield. Okay. So on every single build, you're noticing that I'm using race against time. Race against time, brilliant skill, right? Sword and board, dual wield. What I would be running for this one would be this skill right here. Let's pull out that skill. So it'd be that skill there with this skill here. And then I would be running, because we're not getting, because we're not using fragmented, this set gets changed straight over. And we're going to Malabeth, right? And so this will be the set that I'd go into here if that wasn't working. I would be switching over to Malabeth for a sword and board dual wield setup. And we're going to be quite heavy on magic. So magic sustain will obviously be an issue here that I'll have to look into as well, because that is a lot of magic being used there. Although you only need to keep this one, like your armor, and that every so often, and you can use tri-potions for this setup, because you wouldn't need armor potions, because we're in sword and board setup, so our resistances will be quite nice, and our mitigation will be really nice, because we'll be able to block quite a bit. So I'll be more leaning towards tripods for this one. And then on the skill side of it, it would be something like this. So we'll move this. Right, where are you? Twin slash is what I'm looking for. With, oh no, there we go. Twin slashes, spin to win, and then fossilize. So you can see very heavy magic set up here, right? But that's okay. DK can work around that fine. Because if we're using so many magic skills, we won't need as much stam recovery. We're leaning more in towards heavy armor. This is easily achievable, guys. Easily. Literally through a food like this, okay? You could literally run this food here. You up your magic, stamina, health recovery, and max health, and you work it in like that. Your stamina would drop, but then you can work stamina in through your attributes and other places, right? So I wouldn't be too worried about stamina, okay? You can work that in other places. Now, for the main set again, I still think critical riposte. I want to be running critical riposte because I'll tell you, we're going to CP now. The reason why I want to be running critical riposte for 4 pieces is because next patch I'm getting rid of this. I'm moving this out. I won't be running this champion point next patch, right? I won't be running that, and I will not be running this one here either. Okay, that won't be run. I will be running this one, and I will be running this one. So for your AoE damage done, increased by 10%, and then your single target damage reduction by 10%. And then what I'll be looking at is up here, there's a new one, Master Arms, and with the Master Arms one, it increases all your direct damage done. And I will be, that's a leap. That's an extra 10% damage to leap. That's an extra 10% damage to execute. Extra 10% damage to uppercut if we use uppercut. To extra 10% damage to nauseous breath. You get the point. It's an extra 10% damage to all that. So I'm looking to play that, right? I'm looking to play that. And then over here, I'll be using this for next patch as well. So obviously, I'm taking off. Well, in this build, I don't have Rally, but I have Cauterize. But in my other build, I have Rally and I don't have. So the dual wield 2-hand, I have Rally, but no Cauterize. In the Sword and Board dual wield, I have Cauterize, but no Rally. And I will be using Focus Mending in both of them to increase my healing done with single target abilities by 2%. This does work for. This works for Cauterize. I thought that Cauterize would be healing over time, but it does count as single targets because it only goes to one person at a time, and it's in an instant. Even though it's an overtime, it ticks singularly. And that goes for Vigor and Rally as well. So this will work for Vigor, Rally, and Cauterize. So no matter the setup I'm using, I'll be running Focus Mending. With this one, the new Master Arms and Duelist buff here. So that's why I'm going to be running Critical Riposte 4 pieces body to give me over 800 or 8 to 900 critical resistance to completely nullify my need for resilience. Okay, and I'll be running either 4 to 5 pieces in pen. So it'll be 4 pieces in pen, 1 piece is well fitted, or 5 pieces in pen, no pieces well fitted, and always 2 pieces reinforced chest and legs. That's what I'm going to be going for this patch. Always chest, legs, reinforced, guys. Always. Because we're going to be running heavy there. Definitely do that because we need to get those resistances up. Then either 4 or 5 pieces in pen or with like 1 to 0 pieces well fitted. Not sure yet, but that's where we're going with them. And just if you're curious, we're keeping these the same. So we're keeping these 4 the same for next patch. These are some solid ass champion points. Slottables, we're going to be keeping them. Okay, so that's enough talking about the CP, right? And then, what was I saying in here? Right, yeah, with this set here, I will be more inclined now to run Deadly Front Bar. I will be more inclined to run Deadly Front Bar. And I will go, what I'm going to do is quickly go back to Deadly and show you just once again what Deadly looks like, right? But I mean, increases your damage, your physical, bleed, poison, and disease damage, overtime abilities, and overtime and channel abilities by 20%. So all of our main skills right here, right? All of our main skills are going to be, what is it? Toxic Breath, Twin Slashes, and Venomous Claw, right? Now, that would be if I'm not running Master Dual Wield, right? So it wouldn't if I'm running Deadly here, I would obviously not be running Master Dual Wield. But if I decided to run Master Dual Wield, no, I wouldn't run Master Dual Wield front bar. I wouldn't do that. It would be a 5-piece set, and I'd be replacing Master Dual Wield. And then back bar, it'll be something. It'll be something defensive. It would be something defensive. Hell, what could you put back bar? It would probably be something. I don't know, maybe. No, I wouldn't go endurance. maybe just some resistances, or resistance sets, like the Alessian set, or the set that reduces your damage done by players by I think 3%, just something like that, something a bit mitigation. This setup won't be your most damage, but it will be a very tanky setup. Okay, moving on then to the final setup that I think will be viable for next patch. Well, that I will be using. I won't be running a bow build, so the final thing will be a 2-hand with sword and board, right? A 2-hand sword and board. And what I'll be doing for this one now is I'll be switching this literally out here, right? Where are you? With a fragment. So we're switching that out. We'd keep this as is. This would be switched to uppercut, rally, execute, right? You're losing pressure, so this is the only exception that I switch out another champion point. So for this setup, where I have rally, cauterize, vigor, fragmented, you will have to run Balorgs, first of all. I don't have Balorgs on me right now, but you know what Balorgs does, guys. You will have to be running Balorgs for your monster set. You need an offensive monster set in this setup, 100%. You need an offensive set, monster set. Okay, and then champion points. I would be taking this champion point out, so I wouldn't be running this champion point because I have all 3 heals. I have cauterize, I have fragmented, I have vigor, and then I have rally. So I would be having this one. Then I'd keep this one, right? That's the only circumstance where I'd keep this one for the weapon damage. And then I'd have this one, and one up here as well for the Master Arms. So 3 offensive CP. Yeah. So that's how you'd have to work it that way as well. Right. And leap, obviously, in every single one. I guess, again, I'm sorry that it's not a full build video. I cannot actually give a full build video because I haven't tested. But I really hope that this gives you a solid understanding of where to start this patch. We're literally the first day of the patch. So many people are going to be trying so many different things. I've done so much research. So much. When it comes to STAM DK, I've done it for years. I'm 5-star STAM DK at this point. I've won VX, since day one. I've tried to win VX since day one, and I can do it comfortably now. And this is my thought process on the next patch. Take it as you will. If you don't agree with me, fine. Tell me what you think in the comment section down below. I'm curious to hear what you have to say, in all honesty. But this is 100% going to be solid approaches. If you want my opinion for the best way, it's the one I showed you to begin with. This is the one that I am most hoping will work. Most hoping. And it's going to be the one where I don't have anything front bar. So the undetermined set front bar. So I can test around. It will be... Where is it? This skill here. I think rendering over blood craze. We might try blood craze. Who knows? But rendering for now. Then with... Yeah, these. Literally that. This is... and with Engine Guardian. Don't forget about the Engine Guardian. I'll put that back on. Alright. But this is where I'm thinking I need to be going. Right, guys? This is where I think we need to be heading. On the big pieces, all try-stat enchants on the big pieces. Like chest, legs, helmet. And then for the 4 pieces, you can run stamina or tri-stats, up to you. And I'm looking for all weapon damage jewelry infused. Next patch, I am. All weapon damage infused jewelry. But yeah, guys, I honestly hope that this has helped you. If this has helped you in any way, please make sure to smash that like button. Drop a comment, because obviously I want to know if this has been helpful. I'm trying to feed you as much knowledge as I can before the builds come out. And then if you did find it helpful, make sure to subscribe, guys. I'll have build videos coming out shortly when I've got a chance to get the DLC on on PlayStation and test it for myself. And obviously I stream most days as well. And then you get to come to be part of the Apple Army. And God, I love the Apple Army. I love you all, guys, honestly. We're nearly at 1k subs, and thank you for all the support. Also, guys, we've got the Discord. The link for the Discord is down in the description below. I share all of my content there. When I'm going live, what videos I'm going to be coming. I talk to you guys, so you can interact with me a bit better there. But yeah, without any further ado, guys, I love you all. And I'll see you in the next video. Peace out. Bye-bye.